Blessings, and welcome to EARTHEART Radio. Finally beginning to awaken from the illusion of separateness and broadcasting live from the KSKQ studios in beautiful Ashland, Oregon. Here's your host, Shankara Das.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters, and of course, wherever you're listening, thank you so much. Welcome once again to EARTHEART Radio Show number 20. It's not easy to build a new radio show, especially in the year 2020. This show was started in August of 2019, of course. Years ago, radio was a whole different entity than it is now. It was a place everyone tuned into at the time to hear music, news, entertaining disc jockeys, and even local school lunch menus. It was a cultural connection, and I recall many nights listening to the radio secretly in the middle of the night, enjoying the talk shows with their baritone voices, talking about UFOs and conspiracies and rock and roll, and DJs who were stars in their own right, guys like Wolfman Jack, Alan Freed, Casey Kasem, Rick Dees, Jonathan Brandmeier, and on and on. Through the years, the internet, along with social and cultural changes, we've seen FM radio take a back seat behind the back seat because of so many podcasts and channels and choices and voices. That's why I'm extremely grateful to be here now. Producing and hosting this EARTHEART Radio show on KSKQ Radio, and of course being syndicated on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. on the great KBOG radio in Bandon, Oregon. We have slowly started growing. We've got a growing YouTube channel where all of the past EARTHEART Radio shows are archived. Thanks to Brother Rick in Kenosha, Wisconsin for running the YouTube channel. He gets 100% credit for recording, editing, and posting everything on the radio YouTube channel. That's EARTHEART Radio. Remember, EARTHEART is spelled with one H. It's Earth and Heart. They share the letter H. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. We've got positive news on the way. Some excellent songs lined up. We will spotlight the saint known as Dhyanyogi. But right now, this very moment, I'm pleased to be announcing my guest. I first saw and heard her at the Universalist Church here in Ashland, Oregon years ago, and have followed her on the net. And of course, anytime Jaya Lakshmi and Ananda stop through Southern Oregon, I try to attend. Her new solo album will be soon released, and we're going to be hearing a track from Jaya Lakshmi and Ananda very shortly after the conversation. But right now, I would like everyone to please give a nice EARTHEART welcome to my guest today, Jaya Lakshmi. How are you?
Hi, Derek. I'm doing really good today.
Awesome. Where are you at? Are you in Ashland, can I ask? For some reason, I'm not picking you up on my device. Hang on one second here. This might work.
Okay.
This might work better. Okay, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. Are you in Ashland by the chance?
I'm actually in Eugene for the weekend, and then, I go back to Medford tomorrow.
Awesome. Are you guys on the road currently, or are you just doing some projects?
Well, we're kind of always on the road. So we just got back from Guatemala and have a few days in Oregon, and then we're heading to Hawaii for a couple months. And then we go to India, and it just kind of keeps going like that.
Very busy people. Very busy. That's great, though. You stay so active.
Yeah, we love to travel, so it's just part of life, how it is, you know.
Do you have a home base?
Yeah, we do. It's actually in Medford.
Okay.
We have it's Ananda's parents' house. They have a really big, nice house. So that works out for us, and we're all friends. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I get the feeling you're not there very often.
No, we're not, and they like it when we are. You know, it's like they get visited by their son, and me. So they like that.
That's very cool. Do you have a new solo album coming out, I hear?
Yes. Yeah, I'm so excited. I don't actually have the release date set yet, but I think it's going to be in February sometime. It's been in the works for a few years. This album is just one of those ongoing projects that I finally finished, and I've just sent it off to get CDs printed, and I should be putting together the digital, the version very soon. So
that's awesome. What is the title of the album?
It's called Servants of Love, and that is the title track of the album. Yeah, so, and it has This Is the Day on it. I think you're going to play that song. It has some of my more kind of like anthemic songs on it over the years. So, yeah, it was kind of a solo album. Had to be created out of that because Ananda and I, we both have our own songs. We have our own songwriting, and anyway, it felt good. It felt right.
Do you have any of the folks that you work with Jaya Lakshmi and Ananda as part of the recording process, or is it more or less yourself?
It's mostly Ananda and I. We do most of our engineering, recording. Ananda has delved deeper into the mixing aspect of the record, the recording aspect. But we do work with Ben Weinbach a lot, and he's based in the Bay Area. He's actually quite well-known producer for kirtan and mantra singers. A lot of people go to him. He's amazing. So he actually produced my solo album. He also produced Amanda's solo album, which came out a year ago.
Oh, interesting. For those that might not know the history of Jaya Lakshmi and Ananda, how far do you guys go back? How does the history start for you two?
We met in 2010 in Eugene, Oregon, and we got together. We started playing music together, and then kind of realized that we had a very strong calling, a strong mission, or dharma, the purpose, life purpose together. So we got together in all ways as a couple, and just set out on this great adventure to spread music, spread this healing music out to the world. So we've been doing this for 9 years, about a little over 9 years.
Wow. And you do pop up everywhere. It's obvious that you're very busy making music and being creative and putting out the high frequency vibrations, because I was looking at a selection of CDs I have gathered recently called the Buddha Lounge series, and a couple of them I noticed had tracks by you on there. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. I'm talking to her next week.
Yeah, that is great that you're still finding that album. That was a compilation album that was put together by Sequoia Records, 15 years ago or more. And that, I had 4 solo albums with Sequoia Records, in the year 2003, 2004, 2006, 2009. So
wow.
that was my recording contract with Sequoia Records, and then it was over. And so I'm really happy, actually, now that this is my first solo album that is independent. It's an independent release. So I'm navigating my way. I'm trying to figure out how, the best way to get this out.
Yeah, because you're dealing with promoting and marketing, all those things.
Yes, it's overwhelming. I'm like, oh my gosh, which digital platform should I go through? CD Baby or TuneCore, or they have all these options now. I'm just like, I don't know which one. But I'm going to figure all that out in the next month. Just really try to launch it, give it a good solid launch out there.
Yeah, and just think, by the time you put your second self-released album out, you'll have all kinds of experience, and you'll know what to do, what not to do.
Yeah, I hope so. Ananda's album was an independent release also. It's called The Flower of Life. And so he's been through that a lot, setting all that up. So I'm going to rely on him a little bit, like I do for a lot of things, to help me launch the album.
Well, you said he was getting more into the mixing side of things. Does he have his own little studio setup or anything, like a mobile setup, some kind of thing like that?
We just have a mobile setup, yeah, because we have a lot of times we'll travel around. We mostly just go by car on the West Coast, like down to Arizona, Colorado, California, Southern California, up to Canada. But we travel around with a nice Universal Audio preamp and a nice microphone. And we have our computers, so we use Ableton Live. It's a program, it's just a music program that's a little more in-depth. And so we just, whenever we can, we set up our mic, and our equipment, and we we would do some recording, and we work on our music, and then he can continue to edit on his computer no matter where he is, no matter where we are. We keep editing. So, yeah, it's a different age.
Yeah.
Different age for that.
It is so wonderful to be able to do that these days, if you know how to do that, that is.
Yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve for sure. And like I said, he decided to dive deep into it, but he's getting pretty good. But it does take years, to develop some kind of mastery, and that's why we go to Dan Lineback for his wizardry touch, in the music. Yeah, he adds a whole other level of amazing, glossy, beautiful, smoothness to the music. So
look out, world! There could be an Ananda Records in the near future. You never know.
Oh, you mean produced by Ananda?
Yeah, produced by Ananda or his own label. Who knows? The more he gets deeper into it. I was just making a joke, but you never know.
Right. You never know. That is true. That's the question. He has produced one of our albums in the past, but then we weren't totally satisfied with it completely. So we were like, well, maybe we should go to and pay, someone else to take it to the next level. And so we still kind of like doing that in a way, working with someone else.
Yeah, and I notice when you do your live stuff, music and the things you guys do live, you have Richard Cole on bass and other people that you work with. Do you have that same group of folks recording with you?
Yes, a little bit. On my album, I have Ankush Bhimawala on the tabla, and he plays with us live a lot. When we're up in the Northwest, especially. And Richard's on bass on a couple songs. Other people, yeah, we've played with Shannon Hayden. She's the cello player for Simrit. So she's on my album, and we play with her sometimes. Yeah, there's definitely a crossover, for people we play live are also playing on my album, yeah. Yeah,
Simrit was a guest on the show not too long ago. She's interesting.
Yeah, she is. She's really amazing. She's going big time, really big time, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. There's so many great creative people that come through here in Southern Oregon. I just love it so much. I was going to ask you, how many songs are on your new solo album?
There's 9 songs.
And are you the one that wrote the songs yourself?
Yes.
Nice.
I wrote all the songs. Of course, there's some mantras in there that I mixed in. But I wrote all the music and the arrangements and the melodies and all the English words. And,
Very cool. Can I ask you this? It's kind of personal, but I wonder, just even vaguely or in a nutshell, how did you find yourself first being introduced to the spiritual path of life?
Oh, I like that question.
Good.
Well, I think that it started when I was really young. I just was one of those people that I realized I was a pretty spiritual person, just wanting to connect with spirit. Even when I was a 12, even a child, I just had a strong connection with God or with spirit, whatever you call it. So I was always a little bit like that and mystical. I always had an attraction to mysticism, and so I started delving into things like that. And then eventually I came to Oregon. I'm from the East Coast and New Jersey and New Hampshire, but I moved to Oregon, and then things started opening up when I moved out here, and eventually I read Be Here Now, when I was 20. And then I started reading Autobiography of a Yogi and those kind of books, and Sri Ramakrishna, and then I read the one about Neem Karoli Baba, The Miracle of Love, yeah.
Yes.
So that was all when I was 20, 21, and I just got turned on to mysticism and spirituality from India, and the yogis, the yogic path, the yogic philosophy. But that was back in the 80s. I've been around for a little while. So that was the late 80s. And then, I don't know, it just started opening up more and more. I moved to Hawaii, and then I met my guru, Govinda Maharaj. He's a Hare Krishna guru. He's a spiritual teacher, carrying that lineage. And so I took initiation into that path. and just got deeper into chanting and the bhakti, the yoga of devotion.
Yes.
That we are learning, so many of us, this path from India, from the great teachers and saints of India that have carried this path. And it involves a lot of chanting and singing, kirtan, singing to the divine, and in Sanskrit, mostly.
Right. Were you given your name by your guru?
Yes, in 1991, yeah. Yeah, I felt very lucky when he gave me that name. I was like, yes! That is so cool.
That is so beautiful.
Like, Jaya Lakshmi. Huh?
So that is very beautiful. What a great name.
Yeah, it's a good name. And, a spiritual name, they say, when you're given a spiritual name, it's like that's part of your life, life's path, is to realize the meaning of your spiritual name. And what is it? How is that really connected to you and your soul in this lifetime? And, for me, it's about discovering the wealth of life, on all levels, like especially the inner wealth and the spiritual wealth.
Yeah.
That all of us have, and that I feel like I am realizing in this lifetime. And it's not so much about money, or material wealth, but it can be.
Yeah.
That one I haven't gotten too much expansion on in this lifetime yet. So
yeah, I will say, Goddess Lakshmi's been pretty kind. There was a period of my life where I actually consciously made a partner of mine aware of the fact that I was doing Lakshmi prayers and chanting, and within a couple of days I actually had received money from sources that I hadn't had money from before. It was really wild, and I didn't take it for granted, and I wasn't greedy and keep trying to do it, but I'm under the impression that it's very real and it definitely works, especially with faith and belief. And so yeah, it was nice to actually see you on the circuit with the name Jaya Lakshmi, because that was something at the time that I was doing worship of.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a popular goddess, for a lot of reasons, because everyone seems to want abundance. I mean, there's like so many different online courses right now, for the new year that are like abundance, 40-day abundance meditation, 40-day abundance course, and actually Ananda and I were going to launch an abundance course, but we're just kind of like, wait a minute, there are so many abundance courses. There's an abundance of abundance online courses right now. So we're like, maybe we want to do something else. I don't know. I mean, it seems like a lot of people are working on abundance, but it's the realization of how abundant we really are already on so many levels, especially those of us who are living freely, in the world.
Yeah.
Just that in itself is such a great blessing, to be free to move around and travel around the world.
And speaking of great blessings too, it's a good time to interject and to say, long live Baba Ram Dass, who is free and roaming around now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love Ram Dass. Yeah, so influential for so many people. Yeah, and now he's doing work from the other side, Yep. He's going to continue his angelic work. Really powerful.
And you brought up Be Here Now, so I thought I made a little note to make sure to bring him up during this conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bless his soul, sweet soul.
So you say the new album will probably be out sometime next month, maybe February, March? Yes,
February, hopefully in February. I'm actually getting the CDs printed up right now. They're in process. But of course, hardly anybody buys CDs anymore, but I still print them up because we sell them at our concerts, and it's just, a lot of people are like, I want a CD,
Yeah.
And, another thing I want to mention is that I had a fundraiser, and on fundraiser online, and it's still going in case anybody out there, from this, interview conversation we're having, or, wants to help support the album. It's like, I'm going to say my goal is $20,000, which most people are going to be like, oh my God, that's too much money. But man, it costs so much money. It's like between paying all the musicians who are on it, and then paying the producer, and just like, me for hundreds of hours. I mean, I'm not even really paying myself. I mean, that's just part of the deal,
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been years, just so much of my energy and love and time, devotion's gone into it. But anyway, that being said, if anybody, hears some of the album or knows me or whatever, is interested in donating, that the fundraiser is actually still open. So I'm happy to go beyond the 20,000. I think I've just about made 20,000.
Wow, that's a blessing.
But, yeah, it's been amazing. As the money's been coming in, I'm giving it off to the producer mostly, and then, I just spent $1,000 of that, like, producing the albums,
Well,
and now I have to put a few more thousand into marketing, like Facebook ads and
yep.
all the stuff, for promotion, because, I am the record label now, so
Yeah.
I have to, come up with all the promotional budget and everything. So anyway, if anyone's interested, I can give you like our website.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do people contact you? So that's a great time to do that.
Yeah. Well, the easiest way is to go to our website. I think like right on the front page, it's like contact, and we answer all the time. Anyone who tries to reach us, like we'll get back to them pretty much the same day or a couple days, the most. And that's my website shared with Ananda, because right now, Ananda and I are, our music together is actually the main project. So, but our solo projects are accessible through our website, and also my fundraiser is still on there too. So
awesome. And what is that? What's the address?
So the website is JayaLakshmiAndAnanda.com.
JayaLakshmiAndAnanda.com.
Yeah, so JayaLakshmi and the word and Ananda, ANANDA.com. So JayaLakshmiAndAnanda.com. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time today to join us on Earth Heart Radio for a little chat and talk about the upcoming album. And I would love to have a copy of the CD, and I'll be glad to purchase one as soon as it's available. And then we'll play songs on this show,
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's radio. Yeah, that's another thing. I'm so grateful that you contacted me and, are helping me with this, just getting music out, because that's another side of things I would like to get into, more radio around the world, the internet radio and different angles of radio.
A friend of mine also has a show on this same station, but she's on during like the drive time during the weekdays. So I'll have her maybe email you or something. Her name is Nicole Brady, and she's known as DJ Starlight, and she's got a very spiritual show, and she's a great person. And I know that I think she already knows you anyway, but I'm going to tell her that you're trying to do, promotions, and maybe we'll have her contact you shortly.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks.
for sure. When the new album's out, I'd love to have you back on and maybe to help promote it and to play some songs from it.
Great. Yeah. You can start now.
We are. Well, we're going to go ahead and...
It is done. The album is done.
Well, I believe it, because I've seen you guys, more than once, and it was always a really good time with high frequencies, and I'm going to play This Is the Day from Jaya Lakshmi, and of course, we really appreciate your time today.
Oh, thank you, Eric. Thanks so much. Yeah.
All right, well, blessings, and you have a great rest of your day, and keep in touch, please.
I will. All right, you too.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Aloha.
Aloha. There you have it, my friends, Jaya Lakshmi, the interview, the chat. And I do have a song I would like to play by Jaya Lakshmi, like I just said, but I'd like to thank some of our underwriters. You are at the Earth Heart Radio Show at KSKQ Radio. Biscuits and Vinyl is proud to be an underwriter of KSKQ. Located in Talent, Oregon, Biscuits and Vinyl offers carefully curated records and goods. Biscuits and Vinyl is located at 103 Talent Avenue in downtown Talent. They are open Wednesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. KSKQ thanks Biscuits and Vinyl and listeners like you for supporting community radio.
At Earth Heart Radio, our religion is love. Tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. on KSKQ.
All right, now I've got to deal with the issue at hand. One of the Sources isn't working for me playing music, so I'm going to try a different one, and we'll see if this one works, my friends. It's the joys of live radio, but it's okay. It used to stress me out 20 years ago. It used to really freak me out, but now it's like, you know what? As long as you tell the audience what's happening, big deal. It's like, it's not brain surgery, you know? And if it was, I'd be scared, but it's not. So let's see if this works. Jaya Lakshmi. This is the day. KSKQ and Earth Heart Radio Show.
Now is the time when I let go of my fears, inhibitions, and sense of dread. When I give up control and I let you hold me with no resistance in my soul. Now is the time when I let go of my fears, inhibitions, and sense of dread. When I give up control and I let This is the day when I throw it all away into the fire of the all-loving one. Now I have just what I need to be free, to feel who I really am, who I really am.
All paths lead to getting higher up the proverbial mountain. Earth Heart Radio with Shankara Das on KSKQ.
Thanks for being here, my friends. You are at the Earth Heart Radio Show. Next week, my guest will be David Valley from the spiritual rock band Divine Dirt. He's going to be coming in and playing some spiritual rock tunes on his acoustic guitar and some vocals, and I might even join him on some vocals. David Valley, next week on the Earth Heart Show, and the week after, I call her the most positive musician in Southern Oregon. Sierra Leanne Cox will be joining us the week after, again, for some live music, and I think she's going to bring her ukulele. So watch out. Watch out, I say. Underwriting support for this program is brought to you by Southern Oregon Jobs with Justice. Southern Oregon Jobs with Justice is a coalition of workers, labor unions, community organizations, students, and faith groups working to improve our community standard of living, job security, and workers' rights to organize. Their members participate in the struggle for living wage jobs, fair trade, affordable housing, health care for all, and immigration rights. For more information, call 541-841-8341 or visit their webpage at www.sojwj.org. And of course, KSKQ thanks Southern Oregon Jobs with Justice for supporting community radio. Yeah, we like their group. They're good people, man. They really are. My friends, I appreciate you tuning in. We've had a lot of people reaching out today to let me know they're listening. So this is overwhelming. Usually I don't have this many people. Usually it's one or two. There's like 10 that said, hey, I'm tuned in today. Chris Strow in Wisconsin, thank you. Kelly and Ricky in Wisconsin as well. Thank you, guys. Happy birthday to Chance, who is in Florida. Love you, brother. Also, Jesse Red in Florida. Thanks for listening. Audrey is tuned in Portland. Andy Hamilton, thank you. Also, Mama Bear and Papa Bear right here in Ashland, Oregon. They texted me and they said they're tuned in. Thank you guys so much. My good friend Brenda Roche in Medford, Oregon, right there at the Phoenix and Medford cutoff right there. She's tuned in as she does every week. And Brenda, thank you for all the nice reviews each week. You really keep this going for me. Rick Wade, thanks for tuning in. Sister Tracy and Little Jetson are tuned in Ashland. Thanks, guys. And I appreciate each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart.
Saints, angels, avatars, sages, yogis, holy men, medicine women, helpers, elders, revolutionaries, and advocates of love. Today we honor and show love, respect, and gratitude.
That's right, man. Every single week I like to pay gratitude and some respect and a little education about saints or high-frequency folks living in bodies temporarily, and today is no exception, of course. Today I want to speak to about a man named Dhyanyogi. Have you heard of Dhyanyogi? If not, you will today. Dhyanyogi was an Indian saint. He was born in 1878 in Bihar, India. He was known as Sri Dhyanyogi. He was a master of Kundalini Mahayoga who was responsible for popularizing it in the United States. Prior to his birth, his mother reported having a vision of Lord Krishna. Devotees in India regard such visions as auspicious signs indicating the coming of a great being. He grew up in a devout Hindu family. While other children were playing, he was reportedly meditating. By age 7, he was consumed by questions about identity and mortality. At one point, he actually ran away in search of the meaning of death. At age 13, he left home for good to reportedly search for spiritual enlightenment. For the next 30 years, he traveled across India. He visited remote areas, seeking saints and yogis living in seclusion to teach him. He eventually became an adept at mantra, yantra, hatha, raja, and jnana yogic practices and philosophies. At age 27, he took his vows of renunciation, sannyasa is what that's called. It's when you renunciate and decide to go inward instead of outward. In 1921, he met his Satguru, a master of Kundalini Yoga. He received Shaktipat initiation, and he attained the highest state of Samadhi and his ultimate goal of self-realization. He recounts opening his eyes 3 days later, and his guru was sitting before him in the form of Lord Hanuman. The divine qualities of Lord Hanuman became the hallmark of Sri Dhyanyogi. Dhyanyogi became one of the very first teachers of the ancient tradition of Shaktipat initiation, saying that, quote, all those who came to me for Shaktipat are worthy, and all of them are my spiritual heirs, for my energy works through them. He initiated thousands into Kundalini Yoga, explaining that it's not a religion, but a lasting inner peace and happiness to individuals of any belief or religious affiliation. At age 90, he met Sri Anandima in India. She became his #1 devotee. He said he had never met anyone so spiritually advanced at such a young age as 14. Anandima had clear visions of the Divine Mother and experienced a merging with her. She became the heir of Dhyanyogi's spiritual work and continues his work to this day. In 1980, at age 102, Dhyanyogi returned to India after establishing, among other things, a temple in Antioch, California. He spent his remaining years in India, and August 29th, 1994, the anniversary of Lord Krishna's birth, Dhyanyogi died. I'm grateful myself to have received Shaktipat initiation personally from Anandima a few years back down in Antioch at the temple of Dhyanyogi. If you would like to know more about Shaktipat initiation, you could Google that or look it up or ask somebody that knows, but it's not something you hear much about in the West. Long live Dhyanyogi. Divine bliss from Sri Anandima. You're listening to KSKQ Radio on a Sunday afternoon in Southern Oregon, where it's currently raining. It's coming down pretty good out there, folks, and I can hear the pitter-patter hitting the roof, and it sounds all comfy and cozy, and it's all warm here in the studio. And I will say underwriting support for KSKQ is made possible by Jewish Voice for Peace. Jewish Voice for Peace members are inspired by Jewish tradition to work together for peace, social justice, equality, human rights, respect for international law, and a U.S. foreign policy based on these ideals. For more information, visit jewishvoiceforpeace.com or call 541-220-7307. KSKQ thanks Jewish Voice for Peace for supporting community radio.
Please let go of your fear. Positive news is here. Things aren't as bad as it seems, no matter what they say. News with an agenda is meant to instill fear. True news can instill hope.
And that's right. That's why every week we like to bring the positive news, so maybe you'll walk away feeling a little more uplifted instead of depressed, right? Doing nice things for others can immediately relieve physical and mental pain. Yep. Have you ever felt warm and fuzzy inside after doing something nice for someone else? Well, an impressive new study shows there's more serious science behind that warm and fuzzy feeling than we originally thought. Scientists in China found that, quote, acting altruistically relieved not acutely induced physical pain. Acting altruistically relieved not only acutely induced physical pain among healthy adults, but also chronic pain among cancer patients. The newly published source demonstrates that acute pain was reduced when subjects acted for the benefit of others. Dramatic results were found after individuals were reported to have experienced more pain when having blood drawn for regular lab tests than when their blood was drawn for donations to earthquake victims. Very interesting. So if they went to get blood drawn just regularly, it was a bummer, painful experience. But when they went in to donate blood for a good cause, it was less painful. See, being of service to others, and you get pain relief. Makes sense, though. The wheel of samsara spins. Om mani padme hum. Positive news number 2. Single mom who grew up in foster care adopts 6 brothers. After experiencing years of childhood loneliness in the foster care system, this single mother has just adopted 6 young boys into her home. Jessica Benzakin was only 12 years old when her mom surrendered her to the state. Since then, foster kids are far less likely to get adopted. She spent many holidays as a young woman wishing for a family, so when she finally had a house of her own in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, she decided to open her heart and home to foster kids and siblings who were enduring the same struggles as a child. In addition to co-parenting 2 biological sons with her ex-husband, Jessica welcomed 6 boys from the foster care system several years ago. 4 of the boys are biological brothers, currently ranging in age from 8 to 18. The other 2 boys, age 4 and 6, are also related. The boys were originally supposed to stay with her for only a weekend, but those days quickly turned into several years as a happy family, which was officially sanctioned earlier this week when Jessica officially adopted the boys to become their legal guardian. She says the boys give her a family and a purpose. Lucky boys, lucky Jessica. Positive news number 3. Remembering loved ones gets more creative. If you don't want to memorialize family members with headstones in crowded cemeteries, this creative couple from Seattle has taken a much more artistic approach, and their creations are breathtaking. Greg and Christina Dale specialize in turning the cremated ashes of people's loved ones into swirling, colorful glass sculptures and pendants. And already 50,000 of their memorials have helped families to grieve and remember. 50,000's a lot. After Greg nearly lost his own father to a surgery, he was going over options. If he had lost his dad, what's he going to do? That kind of thing. And he had this great idea. Quote, getting shot out into space, fireworks, and becoming part of a reef are great ideas we went over, he said. But, quote, I realized everyone is looking for help healing, and I thought beautiful glass art would help. So he ended up using his grandparents' ashes to make a memorial of his own. Since launching their Artful Ashes business back in 2012, again, they've made more than 50,000 glass memorials, sculptures, and pendants for mourners. Clients are required to send the Dales 1 tablespoon of ashes for the artist to handcraft a memorial within 4 weeks. Artful Ashes website and Facebook page is out there in cyberspace. Positive news number 4, my friends. A California man who was heartbroken when he brought his deceased dog to the shelter to be cremated was overcome with joy when he received an unexpected message on his phone. Ralph Johnson of Sacramento, California, was working at home last week when his dog, Cognac, wandered off and disappeared. The dog could not be found. The next day, when he resumed his search, he found a dog on the side of the road that had been hit and killed. His tears flowed. He was a wreck. So he took the dog to be cremated. And then a few days later, he received a very surprising phone call. Turns out, while the dog that Johnson discovered on the roadside looked just like Cognac, it wasn't. Instead, Cognac ended up at the local animal shelter where they scanned him for a microchip. And the chip they found identified Johnson as his owner. Quote, "Microchip is the reason we were reunited," Johnson said. "That was his saving grace, and that's how I got him back." This story is really priceless, my friends, right?
Air, trees, water, animals. Earth Heart Radio, on KSKQ.
You are listening to the Earth Heart Radio Show at KSKQ with Simon and Garfunkel with Homeward Bound. Reverend Moody, a.k.a. Shankara Das, heading out of here. Thank you for joining me today at the Earth Heart Show, my friends. I will return next week with my guest, David Valley, and we will spotlight the saint known as Anandima. You heard some of her music earlier, and we'll talk more about Shaktipat initiation next week. Until then, Hari Rama. You're listening to KSKQ 89.5 FM, Ashland, Oregon, and KSKQ translator K231CW 94.1 FM, Medford, Oregon. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful week, my friends, and catch you next week. Adios.
You're listening to Earth Heart Radio with your host, Shankara Das. The Saint He Ain't. On KSKQ. You've been listening to Earth Heart Radio with your host, Shankara Das. Earth Heart Radio is produced by Shankara Das in association with Sister Tracy and Krishna Consciousness. Please tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for more Earth Heart Radio.